In the cane fields of Uramo, just south of Tully, the new face of Queensland's sugar industry in the 21st century is taking shape. What you're looking at is a Miller Nitro self-propelled high-rise sprayer. It's a sophisticated piece of farm machinery that's helping neighbouring farmers Dore & Co and their partners Sweetcane significantly reduce herbicide application over more than 1,100 hectares of farmland. This new cooperative approach to an increasingly capital-intensive business is being modelled on the harvesting side of the industry, which has long demonstrated the benefits of pooling resources between farmers.
When we were setting up our grower group, we took a lot of inspiration from the harvesting sector, because when you look at the cost of the capital involved, there's $1.5 million worth of setup costs there. It has to be run at full efficiency to utilise that capital, to utilise the men. So the equipment that we're using now, the GPS equipment, the high-tech spray equipment, it's all very capital intensive. So it needs to be scaled up and it needs to be fully utilised. So for us, the harvesting sector probably is the most efficient part of the whole cane growing sector. So that's a very good example for us to work with.
For Jamie and his brothers Greg and Brian, the resource sharing arrangement with Sweetcane is all about delivering economies of scale and environmental best practice at the same time. Pooling resources means farm machinery can be used to its fullest capacity. The cost savings are then channelled into more new equipment, including the self-propelled sprayer and zonal tillage systems, tools that ensure farmers keep pace with the environmental demands of growing crops on the coast adjacent to the Great Barrier Reef Lagoon.
So we farm basically similar sized land, parcels of land, and back in 2010 we started sharing machinery in between each other. So that's what we call the machinery pool. So we'll cross-hire machinery, men, implements, and that's sort of a coded system that is written down on a per hectare rate, and that's divvied up a plus or minus at the end of the season. We haven't had to recapitalise to do anything, because we've used all the existing machinery within the business, a few additions here and there like the sprayer and a bit of zonal tillage equipment, but that's been the crux of it.
The self-propelled high-rise sprayer is one example of how the cost-sharing arrangement has delivered improved efficiencies and environmental gains. The Dores and Sweetcane secured $70,000 in Australian Government Reef Program funding towards the $108,000 purchase of the machine. The rest was funded by the growers. It's allowed the group to cut down on the use of residual herbicides and concentrate more on knockdown, in the process reducing their overall herbicide output by 700 kilograms per year. The outcome delivers cost savings and reduces the risk of residual herbicides damaging the Great Barrier Reef.
Now we use chemicals that post-die-on banning that we can get out and spray, but some of that has to be just in time, so after harvest, before the emergence of cane. So that's very important. That's allowed us to do that. And also with our Irvin legs, broadacre sort of return spraying, it's allowed us to sort of get in and spray when the weeds are smaller, allowing for a lot less use of chemicals. So this piece of machinery here has allowed us to change the way that we spray and be a lot more efficient in what we do.
As Brian Dore sees things, it makes common sense financially to share resources, given individual farmers would struggle to meet the costs.
If you got half of the size of the farm that we have, we couldn't capitalise to get the gear that we wanted, such as equipment like a sprayer or zonal tillage equipment, stuff like that. So that's what being the big driver for us, is just being able to ramp up and get the machinery that we need to stay efficiently and stay efficient and stay ahead of the game.
Staying ahead of the game is something Dore & Co are making a habit of. With the help of the Australian Government Reef Program, they commissioned the design and manufacture of an industry-leading zonal tillage system. The device minimises disruption of the inter-row spacing when it comes time to plant, and cuts down significantly on the tractor horsepower and fuel required.
What it is it's a zonal disc strip tillage implement. It's got all the same basic principles of an offset type cultivation device, but what it does is it only cultivates the zones, so that allows for a lot less horsepower. It's also got a set of breakout coulters that break out the edge, and they also got a set of crumble rollers behind them. So I suppose if we're looking at like-for-like implements, the industry conventional type of offset disc would take about 350 horsepower to pull this size swathe. So this is doing 3 rows at once, 3 1.9 metre rows, so that's a 5.7 metre swathe. As you can see, the breakout coulters, they act as a containment disc, as well as they cut away any trash or anything that may foul the main operation. So that was a bit of a crucial design. My brother Greg spent a lot of time developing that, and as a result, this has been a massive fuel saving, basically, and it's allowed us to use the conventional size tractor. So if you've got a 180 horsepower farm tractor or a 160 horsepower farm tractor, that's something that can be used for fertilising. It can be used for lots of other purposes on the farm, as well as heavy cultivation. So this here would normally, you'd be burning a lot of fuel to pull a set of offsets this wide. A lot of fuel and high horsepower requirement, and time also. This cuts down on the time a lot.
The zonal tillage system was one of several projects submitted by the Dores and Sweet Cane for funding through the Australian Government REEF program, and its strong emphasis on minimal tillage farming earned a tick of approval from the Tully Cane Productivity Services Board, which assists growers with applications.
What's been great about it is that from the start we knew where they wanted to go with it. They had a vision for what their farming system was going to look like, and they could tell us it was going to be starting with zonal ripping, zonal disking, and then through to zonal hoe. And that meant that they were basically trying to minimise the disturbance of the interrow. It was all about just working in the row where you were finally going to plant your cane. And that vision that they had made it really clear for us as to what they needed to get there, and it was pretty simple for us to support those applications and just put it down on paper.
Productivity Officer Graham Cripps also praised another recent innovation by the Dores, a mounding system for planting cane that's improving strike and minimising crop failures in a growing district where waterlogging of low-lying blocks can be a real issue.
The interesting thing that Dore & Co are doing currently is it's sort of a modified mound system that they use to plant. It's still not a one-pass system, but the mound's really important in Tully because we have the really wet area. It's probably the wettest production area in Australia, and having a mound where you plant means that if you do have a lot of rain soon after planting, that cane that's emerging, that billet, isn't waterlogged for too long, because otherwise you'll get a failure. So with your emergence, with your strike.
The zonal tillage system is also reaping rewards at harvest time. In a district where out-of-season rain events, including during the winter and spring months, are not uncommon, access to blocks for harvesters and bin haulers can be problematic. So having a hard interrow that's never been tilled is an advantage.
Harvesting in wet conditions, having that hard soil is good for the harvester and the bin tractors to travel along. It means basically that the Dores can get in and start harvesting again after a lot of rain before everybody else, and that gives them some advantage.
This for us is the pointy end of the stick. This is what we're doing it all for, is for the harvesting, and we're really happy with our 1.9 metre system and controlled traffic system because we're starting to achieve very good yields now. So there has been a stage 5 years where, with the development, it has been hard to get where we are now, but we're extremely happy now. We're starting to reap the rewards. With the harvesting group here, we've got a 1,200 hectare group, and with the 25% field efficiency gain, that's 200 hectares or more every year that they don't have to get over. So that's a great advantage for us.
Advantages too for the environment and the Great Barrier Reef, which is benefiting from farmers taking responsibility for nutrient, herbicide and sediment management.